the Xbox Series X, the most powerful console ever built by Microsoft. It promised us 4K gaming at up to 120 frames per second. And in 2025, this is how I use mine. Alright, let me explain. A few weeks ago, the internet started buzzing about Microsoft entering the PC handheld space. To summarize, instead of building an in-house handheld like Nintendo with the Switch, Microsoft is reportedly planning to collaborate with an OEM like Asus to create a Windows 11 based handheld with an Xbox branded launcher. Windows on handhelds can be a bit janky, and it made me wonder, what would it be like to have a proper Xbox in handheld form? But here's the thing, I realized I've been using a true Xbox handheld for the past year. Ever since I built my desktop PC in 2022, my Xbox has lived in my living room. I use it mostly for casual and single-player games, all from the comfort of my couch. But sometimes, the TV's in use, or I'm just laying in bed. This is my Xbox Portal. Okay, yes, it's a Steamdeck LCD. The Steamdeck performs quite well with indie games, 7th gen classics, and middle market titles. For AAA, next-gen games, it's playable, but let's be honest, the performance can be underwhelming. Here is the new Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered running natively on Steamdeck. And here it is on my Xbox Portal. Streaming your Steam library from a powerful PC to the deck isn't new, but since moving into my new apartment last year, my electricity bills have been brutal. So I try to shut down my PC when I'm not using it. Even with a power-efficient GPU like the RTX 4070, look at the wattage difference compared to the Series X. Since the Steam Deck runs on Linux, there's no native Xbox app to remote into your Series X. Let me introduce you to Greenlight, a free app you can download in desktop mode via the Discover Store. Greenlight lets you remote into your Xbox Series X and play games via xCloud. Greenlight is also compatible with macOS and Windows. In comparison to streaming from your Steam library, Xbox has a low wattage mode that keeps it ready for remote play without requiring you to manually power it on. It just works. For those of you with a large physical collection, I'm happy to report that games are still playable when you remote in. The Xbox UI is another major win. Microsoft has refined this interface for over a decade. It's clean, intuitive, and snappy. One standout feature that's often overlooked: Quick Resume. It lets you pause a game, jump into another, and return right where you left off. Let's say you're racing through Forza Horizon 5 and a friend invites you to play Halo MCC. Switch over, play a few matches, then jump straight back into Forza like you never left. Quick Resume still works even if you unplug and replug the Xbox from the wall. Having at least 4 games on standby at all times is incredible. No other console or PC setup offers this kind of seamless multitasking. Now yes, I can't take this outside my Wi-Fi network without major lag spikes and latency, but when it works, it really feels like a dedicated plug-and-play Xbox handheld. PC handhelds are amazing, and the versatility of a Windows 11 device is hard to beat. One thing you're not told when switching over from a console to a PC is all the housekeeping that comes with Windows. You need to update your BIOS, your graphics drivers, Windows, you need to download your game shaders, wait for the anti-cheat to load. You get the idea. Consoles get knocked for being simplistic, but there's something refreshing about their plug-and-play nature. It's part of why SteamOS gets so much love. It finds a balance of being a plug-and-play device, but also allows you to have advanced settings like capping your screen's refresh rates and your device's TDP. Seeing this UI on my Steam Deck makes me wish Microsoft had made a handheld with the internals of a Series S. Can you imagine? 1080p, 120 FPS gaming with Quick Resume? Maybe not 4 games at once, but even 2 would be amazing. And just to be clear, streaming your content to a device like the Steam Deck depends entirely on your internet connection. Would I recommend this for sweaty, competitive shooters? Probably not. But if you've got a backlog of single-player games like I do, this is a killer setup. Space isn't cheap, and I've got over a terabyte of installed games I don't want to repurchase or download them on my PC. This setup lets me play them with minimal compromise. I'm not recommending you buy a Steam Deck or a PC handheld just to breathe new life into your Xbox. After all, Microsoft has supported console streaming since the Xbox One. If you own a smartphone or tablet, you can use that to remote into your Xbox. Pair a controller or use a mobile accessory for a more handheld styled experience. This is the backbone. Not a new product, but one that's quickly become essential for me. The pass-through charging port on the right grip is a small detail, but one I didn't realize I'd appreciate so much. Recently, Microsoft removed Remote Play from the mobile Xbox app entirely. Today, if you want to remote into your Xbox on an iPhone or Android, you have to do it through a web browser. When I gave this a try, it worked decently, and you can now play your 360 and backwards compatible games on your mobile device. This wasn't possible before when you used the native Xbox app. But it's important to know you're no longer connecting to the Xbox via your local Wi-Fi. You now have to remote in over the internet even if your console is just sitting 10 feet away from you. Why did they do this? From what I understand, they had to. Apple and Google both take a 30% cut of any digital sales made through apps on their platforms. If Microsoft allowed you to buy or stream games directly inside the Xbox app, they would have to pay that 30% fee. So by moving Remote Play to a browser, they can avoid those App Store rules. It's frustrating, but it wasn't entirely by choice. Thankfully, the Xbox app on Windows still has all the remote features, which in my experience gave me a stronger connection than on mobile. So if you own an ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, or any Windows 11 handheld PC, you'll have access to all the games installed on your Series X. Fun fact, you don't need your Xbox connected to a TV or monitor for any of this to work. Just power and Wi-Fi, and that's it. To close things out, there's a chance Microsoft will eventually stop making traditional game consoles altogether. Selling Game Pass subscriptions seems to be their bigger priority, which is a real shame because they have all the right ingredients to make a dedicated Xbox handheld that would be a killer Game Pass machine. Windows 11 is such a chore in handheld mode, I don't think most people would miss it. Even though it's amazing that a device like the ROG Ally or Steamdeck can become a desktop PC when docked, the Xbox UI is surprisingly perfect for this form factor, despite never being designed for it. Microsoft to me is a company full of great ideas, some ahead of their time, but they either pull the trigger too early or don't stick with them long enough to see them through. So where does that leave my Series X? In 2025, my Series X feels less like a traditional game console and more like an Apple TV. I don't really buy movies anymore. I stream them. But on occasion, I'll still go out and buy the 4K Blu-ray of my favorite movie, so I can watch it at the highest quality with no streaming compression. And I can enjoy bonus features like behind-the-scenes footage and director commentary. When it comes to video games, my Series X is just a Game Pass subscription box. If I want to be at my most competitive when playing games, I fire up the desktop with all the customizations I could want. But for everything else, single-player games, couch sessions, or bedtime gaming, the last thing I want to think about is updating drivers and waiting for shaders to load. And that's why I still have my Series X in 2025. Thanks for watching. Let me know how you use your Series X. Don't forget to check out Greenlight, I'll have a link in the description. It's free and compatible with Linux, macOS, and Windows. Drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We just hit 300 subscribers and I'm genuinely touched. As a thank you, I'm giving away a second Backbone controller with USB-C. To be eligible, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and comment, "I want to play my Xbox in handheld mode." Just make sure your subscription is public, or else I might not see it and you won't be chosen. I'll announce the winner in 2 weeks. Best of luck, and see you in the next one.